This week in Trump legal news, an appellate court in New York said that, quote, Mr. Trump has insufficient assets to pay the judgment, end quote. This is despite Mr. Trump saying in public he had hundreds of millions of dollars of cash, but when it came down to a court filing, he admitted he didn't. He does not have the cash to pay the $464 million judgment against him in New York, which means that he can now either get a loan, which the court allowed him despite the lower court's ruling, or assets will be seized by the Attorney General. The Supreme Court making the big decision to hear oral arguments in President Trump's immunity case April 22nd, which means there is quite a bit of delay in deciding the immunity issue, which in itself, sometimes delay is in itself a miscarriage of justice. The court is going to answer the question of whether or not a president has immunity for an alleged official conduct. We know the precedent says that presidents are immune from civil liability for official conduct. Now the question about criminal. I don't see how an official conduct can have immunity from criminal because by nature, a criminal act should not be an official act. Police officers might be a good example of this. If they are shooting a suspect, they can be criminally charged for that, but not always because sometimes it is part of their official act, but that's up to a fact finder to decide. Fani Willis hearing concluded today with legal arguments from both sides. The defense trying to argue that just an apparent conflict of interest was enough, and evidently the evidence should be, you know it when you see it. This is the type of argument somebody makes when the evidence is not very strong, which is why the prosecution was saying it should be an actual conflict of interest, because when the stakes are this high, you're removing an elected DA, and not only in this case, but maybe in every case, it should be an actual conflict of interest, and went through step by step the flaws in their evidence.